On today's episode of the DeRaud-Messinger Show, we're previewing and predicting UTSA versus Texas. Longhorns fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. So to begin doing, as always, I got to do this, the basic game info, so you guys know where to go. Don't show up to the wrong stadium, please, and what channel to turn into. I mean, I can't help you with streaming, streaming options, Dylan, because me and streaming just is like what? It's like oil and water, I guess. It's just not pretty. But the game is Saturday, of course, 9/17 at 7 p.m. Central Time at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. The details, Dylan, have not changed. The game will be televised on LHN, and currently Texas is favored by 12.5 points. The spread was a little more kind to UTSA earlier in the week, but it's already changed. But Dylan, how you feeling? Give me a little bit of a scouting report here.
Well, Devon, how I'm feeling is a little nervous in the sense of that Texas does have a few key injuries. Ewers is not going to be playing, as well as Hudson Card is not expected to play, or there's
Possibly.
a situation.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that is we'll see day to day, obviously, but X Factor. Sorry, Devon. Scouting report.
Whoa, getting ahead of yourself. Yeah.
I know. I'm just
Just so
excited.
excited. Yeah. Oh, jinx, are we finishing each other's sentences? Okay, go ahead.
It's tough, Devon. It's tough, but obviously, the first thing you're looking at that UTSA offense is QB Frank Harris. He has 348 yards per game that he's averaging currently this season, as well as 46.5 rush yards per game. So he is a runner, so be careful of that. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's got 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Devin, a key little point, though, is that he's been sacked 7 times. That offensive line is something of concern for UTSA, so expect that UT defense, especially the defensive line, to have their way up front. Or better yet, Devin, they need to be having their way up front if they want to make sure to secure this victory and win the way that they should be. Then at wide receiver, Devin, they have Zachariah Franklin, 20 receptions, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devin, that receiving corps is experienced. I believe all 3 of them are either seniors or juniors and seniors, but they have experience with Frank Harris, who is a redshirt senior and been there for 6 years. So a lot of chemistry for that offense. As well as on defense, Devin, their linebacker, Jamal Ligon, has 18 tackles, leads the team. So again, this is not just some UTSA team coming in here all willy-nilly and Texas is going to have this game on lock. This is a actually really good UTSA team, very good offense, very experienced defense. They did have a 3 overtime loss to Houston to start off the season, and then follow that up with a win against Army in overtime, Devin. So they are battle tested, if you'd like to call it that.
Yeah, it depends on the type of battle, but they definitely had their fair share. As you said, the Houston game was just a great game to watch, and then Army, Dylan, that was OT, right? 1 OT.
Yes, also OT. Yep.
Yeah, and scouting report, literally Dylan, I think, touched on everything, but I'll just quickly go over it again. Frank Harris averaging about 350 passing yards and 3 touchdowns through the air so far. I believe he has 1 interception so far, but yet again, the ratio there is in favor of touchdowns. And then his favorite wideouts, as Dylan mentioned, I believe is Zachary Franklin. But all the Zach variations, they always get me. And then Joshua Cephas are the 2 guys to watch for them. And then, of course, on defense, we tried looking up these pronunciations to make sure we were respecting them, but having a hard time. So if I mispronounce, I apologize. Long story short, you got Trevor Harmonson at linebacker, along with Jamal Ligon at linebacker. I mean, those are the guys to watch. I'm more concerned, though, to start, like I was talking about the offense, about those wideouts and Harris back there at quarterback, just because at the end of the game against Bama's starting to pick up some chunk yardage pretty easily. Now, of course, Nick Saban and crew, they know how to scheme things up eventually. I mean, they're not going to lose the chess match forever. But also with Deshaun Jameson, I don't know if we were going to talk about this before, Dylan. Deshaun Jameson, I believe, is going to be out for the game. I cannot confirm that. But obviously a secondary star for Texas. He was starting to pick up production a little bit. He's, has had his up and downs throughout his time at Texas, but he's starting to get a little, momentum going, Dylan. He's a playmaker. Without him, Texas is going to have to rely on some young guys like they did last weekend. Austin Jordan at cornerback, Jalen Gilbo are just 2 of the names. I believe there's some other guys that are being rotated in as well, but just watch out for that secondary battle. And Dylan, I don't know if you're going to touch on this here, but speaking of X factors, who are your X factors?
Well, Devon, for X factors, I'm going back to that UTSA offensive line. They are starting a walk-on tackle, Devon, Frankie Martinez, as well as guard Venli Tatafu, if I'm pronouncing that right, was moved to tackle. So this is a banged-up offensive line with one of their players being suspended and another one out with injury, Devon. So going to be a tough one for them to replace, as well as a more improved defensive line that we've seen from Texas based off last game against Alabama. So UTSA is going to be having a tough one there in the trenches in this game. So look for Frank Harris possibly be running around Devon, because Texas is going to be need to getting to him. If you let him get comfortable back there, though, it will be a long day for Texas. And for UT, Devon, I'm sure you'll touch on it later. But corners and the rest of the secondary, that is something that Texas is going to have to be playing really well in that area against UTSA. Their strong point is Frank Harris and his ability to throw the ball, because you know that defensive line, they are expected to have a good day against this UTSA offensive line front. So it's going to be on those corners to be stopping those high-level receivers for UTSA, Devon.
Yeah, I already touched on it a little bit on scouting report today, Dylan. I don't know why we just really want to get to those X factors early. I mean, Texas down Deshaun Jameson, but even if they weren't Deshaun or down Deshaun, I'd still probably have this as an X factor. And yet again, just the Jameson decision is going to be probably a game time decision. Austin Jordan, Jalen Gilbo, the two guys I mentioned that are going to need to step up if that's the case. You know, I mean, of course, Ryan Watts and then Anthony Cook, Jaron Thompson, and everyone else that contributes there is going to have a good game, because I would expect UTSA to try to throw the ball a little bit. As you said, the defensive front for Texas, this is their chance to shine. But I believe UTSA was getting back their starting left tackle. That was kind of developing a little bit before this video. So not 100% sure there. So maybe a little bit of improvement. But as you said, the line as a whole has just been kind of injured for them. So that's TBD. But the other group, of course, that, you know, we would not be doing our jobs, Dylan, if we didn't want to mention, was the quarterback position for Longhorns. Of course, Quinn Ewers, you know, hoping he gets back 100% healthy as soon as he can. But now, you know, next man up, is Hudson Card going to be starting is the real question. He's got an ankle injury that's kind of sidelining him. I believe reports are saying that he's been taking some snaps, but also that Charles Wright is taking the majority right now of live snaps. That might just be to get Wright, though, ready, Dylan, in case of emergency, just due to the fact that he's the third stringer and is not usually needed to take too many live snaps.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah, and it can't hurt. Make UTSA watch some extra film, you know, keep the defensive coordinators up.
Yeah. Plug in some of my Charles Wright, Austin High highlights, you know, from the good old YouTube. But yeah. No, I mean, I've covered both these quarterbacks. I don't know if Dylan, if you've covered Austin High game, but I mean.
Yeah, we've been there together. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of experience watching Card and Wright. They're two pretty different quarterbacks. Wright is definitely more of the pocket passer. Card likes to escape, but yet again, if he's having that ankle injury, I know he ran a little bit against Alabama, but it's tough, you know, to maneuver in that pocket. And Dylan, you're talking about Joel Klatt during the Bama game was talking about kind of the weight distribution on a throw. It's if your ankle's hurt, it's not easy to put some force into it. So it's definitely something to watch. I think Card, if he's somewhat healthy, I think he's going to be running out there. So that would be my expectation right now, is that Hudson Card is the starting quarterback. What sort of job can he do against UTSA? We'll see. I mean, you know, they're going to need someone in there that can do a serviceable job. You know, you can't just go in there and not do anything, obviously. And then we also talked about Roschon Johnson, Dylan, the running back for Texas, who took a lot of Wildcat snaps against Kansas State last year. It's a possibility that Sark is going to just draw up some sort of similar game plan for him. I'm sure UTSA probably popped in some Wildcat football highlights from last year, see what they can do better than Kansas State did. But I don't know. Roschon used to be a quarterback in high school, you know, Dylan. I'm sure he could tell us that he could throw the ball a little bit. I mean, I'm all for it. You know, I'll get the popcorn ready if Roschon is in there. He's one of the most entertaining guys for Texas just because of that heart, Dylan. It's oversized, honestly. You know, the work ethic and team player unselfishness is just off the charts. But anything else for X Factor? Or do you want me to move on here?
Well, just to touch on the quarterback situation, I think with Hudson Card hurt, either way, whichever quarterback plays, definitely I feel like we're going to get a heavy dose of Roschon Johnson at Wildcat lined up with Bijan Robinson. If he does in fact play, I know he is nursing an injury as well, but he is expected to play. So be wary of that combo. Just to do a little bit of a change of pace. Obviously, like we were talking about, Charles Wright is more of a pocket passer, so having Roschon Johnson in there to change it up a little bit, make them a little more honest with a QB draw or wildcat draw, if you want to call it that, Devin. Just to keep UTSA on its toes, it can't hurt.
Wildcat draw, yeah, that's
There you go.
I mean, I think technically that's correct. I can't dock you points there, but yeah, that's a funny one. Now, Dylan, of course, I'll just throw it right back to you. Danger level. What are you feeling here? This is kind of an interesting matchup, just as you said, due to the many uncertainties and factors that are going into this game.
Yeah, not to throw any hate on Louisiana Monroe, Devin, but UTSA is not Louisiana Monroe. They are a good team. There are injuries that Texas is dealing with, especially with starting quarterback as well as cornerback. So this is not going to be an easy one. I have the danger level sitting at 6, Devin. A QB, Frank Harris, is what you could say maybe a Walmart version of Bryce Young.
Oh my
but
gosh.
A very reliable quarterback, Devin. Very good. I'm not disrespecting him at all. I'm just saying that his tendencies can be somewhat similar. No one's similar to Bryce Young, though, or very comparable. I'm digging myself into a hole here, Devin.
I mean, if you're comparing,
ability is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Not going to be an easy one. This is why I'm putting that danger level at a 6.
I mean, I still say it's a compliment. You're comparing him to Heisman winner, so I was trying to jump in to defend you a little bit there. But yeah, 6, okay. I'm debating somewhere around there. I'm gonna go with a 5. I mean, 5 is kind of the uncertainty rating for me. I mean, I guess we'll see who's in there at quarterback, and that's why I'm giving it a 5. I mean, Texas, Card has experience, not a ton per se, but much more than Charles Wright. Obviously, if Wright's in there, maybe, as Dylan said, more of a 6 or a 7. And no disrespect to Wright, that's just first game in your college career. Like, that's what to expect. But also, all gas, no brakes, Dylan. But is there going to be a little bit of a let off of the brake pedal? Still on, but post Bama, is there going to be a little bit of not a letdown week, but a little too much pride in that team? They still lost the game. It was, we talked about it, a positive performance, but still a loss. Are they going to be a little too big in the head? I don't think so, but just that's what's leading into the 5 for me. Of course, I guess we'll see. But Dylan, predictions, what are you feeling?
Yeah, this is a big game just for Texas to show that they're not like last year where they get up for a big game, then the next week they can kind of fall apart and fizzle out. Want to see that the energy is still there. Obviously, it's going to be hard to compare that to the Bama game. That energy was an all-timer for sure. The fans were really into that. The players were really into that. So I don't think it's going to be that same level, but hopefully there is some semblance of it this game. But, Devin, with those injuries on the offense, especially at QB, I don't know how many touchdowns Texas is going to be able to put together. I have them putting up 27, UTSA 23. This is a UTSA offense that can, like we've talked about and really hinted at and stressed, that they can score. So I have Texas 27-23 in this matchup, Devin.
Okay, I was close to you there. I got Texas winning 30-20 against UTSA. As you said, we're not really sure what to expect. UTSA, they can score the football. They've played somewhat decent opponents. I mean, Houston and Army are no Bama, but I mean, Texas has only played one Bama, and then as you said, the ULM was a little ugly. But you're going to see a lot of Bijan, I believe, in this game. A lot of Roschon, as Dylan mentioned, at Wildcat. Maybe run some Wildcat draws, a new play call that we're calling up. But, yeah, heavy dose of that. But then, Dylan, another aspect of the game to watch out for is special teams. And not even scoring for offense, but can the offense set up the defense in terms of not getting some yards offensively. That way, if Daniel Trejo is still the kicker out there for Texas at punter, can pin UTSA deep. I think this game might be a little more a field battle of position than typical, but yet again, we'll see. I just want to mention Trejo's name, let's be honest. Machete Kills getting a shout out on this video. Now, what are you guys thinking? What's your score prediction for UTSA versus Texas? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.